Welcome to another edition of Win the Day Planner Content Library. We are really excited to have Tony Castiillo back. Tony has been on our podcast webinar numerous times now. He is the owner of Nutrition for Performance in Florida. And in addition to owning his own company for diet and nutrition in Florida, he has also worked with the University of Florida Athletic Program and the Toronto Blue Jays. Tony, we're super excited to have you back. Welcome.
Dan, thank you so much for having me on again. Now, this topic we're about to talk about, should I let you intro it?
No, go ahead.
Go for it. One of the questions I always tell every athlete, what if I told you you could boost your testosterone? What if I told you you could outperform everyone by doing this one simple thing, right? And most of the time they're like, oh man, this has to be a supplement, right? This should be illegal, Dan. It's literally sleep. Most of the time, most athletes don't have sleep and they're missing out on that extra free throw if we're talking about basketball. They are missing out because they're not getting enough sleep. Now, what has the research actually shown? Anyone who sleeps under 7 hours a night, you've increased your chance of injury by 70%. So if you're someone looking to get injured, keep sleeping less. Keep doing the same things. Keep staying up on TikTok. Keep staying up on Fortnite. And when I was working in the pros, the young guys, that's what they did. And guess what? They'd be injured. They'd be sitting in the room, and no one wants that, right? We don't want our athletes to be injured. We want them to perform at their best. So they need to be getting at least 9 hours a night. Research has shown for athletes, they should be getting about 9.25 hours of sleep. So 9 hours and 15 minutes of sleep in order to perform at their best. So if they don't sleep all night, they need to find ways to nap during the day. But if they're in high school or any other age group, it's probably pretty hard to find times to nap. Even the collegiate athletes, when I was working in football at the University of Florida, Dan, they literally, I remember walking into the fueling room and all the lights were off. And I remember turning on the lights and half the team was in there taking naps because they knew how crucial it was to sleep. You're putting your body through so much work that when you don't sleep, you're losing out on growth hormone. So talking about testosterone, if we don't fall asleep at the same time every night, we're reducing our production of growth hormone. So growing those muscles. So if we don't sleep, our muscles aren't growing. If we don't sleep, our brain isn't being cleared out so we can remember things, help with memory and focus. And when we're learning playbooks, you want to remember that. When you are looking at what your competitor is doing, looking at any tape, you want to remember what their weak point was and what your strengths are. And when you don't sleep, this is what messes it up. Time and time again, research has shown, especially in basketball, it has shown that they've missed, I believe it was anywhere between 10 to 20% more free throws for those that were under 8 hours of sleep. So if we're looking to just improve what we do in our sports, we're trying to reduce our injury by 70%. We need to get more sleep. Stop the TikTok, stop the Fortnite. I promise you we'll be there tomorrow, right? So what are some habits and some routines you can do? One, wear blue light blocking glasses. So these are these simple orange light glasses so that way your body gets the natural release of melatonin. Two, stay away from melatonin. Our body produces it naturally, and if we eat melatonin, it's actually stopping our body's production of it, and that is not what we want. We want to stay away from melatonin. We want to stay away from blue lights. That means TVs, phones, computers, laptops, all that stuff. Those things we want to put away at least an hour before bed. You can start by taking a hot shower because what that does is increases our body temperature so that when we go into that nice cool bed, it helps drop and we go to sleep, right? So things before bed, make sure you have a cold bed, right? Make sure it is dark. So if that means you need to put on an eye mask looking like an old Ebenezer Scrooge, you got to do it, all right? You want to look like Ebenezer Scrooge. He had some things right. One of them was that eye mask, okay? Stay away from screens and at least an hour before bed. And if you're going to eat or drink anything, you want to make sure you have something that has protein. So it could be Greek yogurt, could be cottage cheese because that helps your muscles grow while you sleep, or tart cherry juice, which is something the pros use. Why? Because tart cherry juice actually helps produce melatonin naturally in your body. So if you're someone who drinks or tries to take or currently takes melatonin, switch over to tart cherry juice, which you can buy and you can get at most grocery stores to help the natural production. Or you can also do almonds and kiwis, but tart cherry juice is the best one out there. So those are some simple things you can do for your sleep and why you should be sleeping more.
Wow, that is probably a 4-minute jam-packed truth bomb for a lot of high school and college age athletes. I want you to reiterate one thing one more time. I think you said it 4 times or 5 times. Say it one more time about limiting blue light before sleep. What are those blue light things that we have that a lot of high school and college age athletes might have accessibility to?
Anything that buzzes, beeps, noises. So that's going to be laptops, phones, screens, TVs, because those blue lights stop our body's melatonin production, which help us fall asleep. And that's why we want you to stop doing it, because it tells our body we're still awake. So it actually produces cortisol, or that stress hormone. So it's telling our body, stay awake, eat more food. It doesn't tell us to go to sleep and sleep well.
Wow. So put those phones away an hour before bed. Get that phone away from you. The TikToks, the Instagram will be there in the morning when you wake up. If you care about being the top athlete or one of the best athletes that you can possibly be, sleep is important. So, Tony, thanks for coming back on. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate all you do for our athletes.
Thank you, Dan. And just a reminder, if you don't do it, your competitor's doing it. So who do you want to have the advantage?
You got it. Spot on. Thanks, Tony.